Today, we're going to be tackling something that's become really important for developers working with large language models,
Okay.
prompt engineering.
Right.
And we've got some fascinating source material here on a new tool
Yeah.
called the Prompt Optimizer Server.
Yep.
It's promising to make this whole process way easier.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how quickly this field of AI is advancing.
Right.
Prompt engineering is no longer just a niche skill.
Yeah.
It's essential for anyone who wants to really harness the power of LLMs.
You're absolutely right. And, it's a bit like trying to get a specific recipe from a chef who speaks a completely different language. You can't just say, make me something delicious.
Right.
You need to be incredibly precise with your instructions if you want to get the dish you're craving.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And just like a poorly worded request to a chef might get you a dish you didn't want.
Right.
A poorly crafted prompt can lead to some pretty disappointing results from an LLM. It can waste time and resources and even impact the performance of your AI application.
Okay, so for those of us who might be new to this,
Okay.
can you break down some of the challenges that developers are facing with prompt engineering?
Sure. So many developers struggle to write effective prompts in the first place.
Okay.
Getting an LLM to understand exactly what you want
Right.
and then consistently produce that desired output can be really tough.
Yeah.
Then there's the debugging process,
Oh, yeah.
which can be a real headache.
I bet.
And then on top of that, a lot of the existing prompt tools that are out there rely on generic templates
Yeah.
that just lack the flexibility that you really need for more complex applications.
So it's like trying to build a house with a prefab kit.
Right.
It might get you started.
Yeah,
But you're pretty limited in what you can create.
absolutely.
So where does this Prompt Optimizer server fit in?
So the prompt optimizer aims to address all of these pain points by giving developers more control, transparency, and power over their entire prompt engineering workflow.
Okay.
And one of the key things that sets it apart is that it runs locally on your machine.
Now, why is that so important?
Well, for starters, it means you have complete control over your data and your infrastructure.
Okay.
You don't have to send sensitive information through the cloud
Right.
or rely on any third-party platforms.
Right.
This is particularly important in fields like healthcare or finance,
Yeah.
where data privacy is absolutely paramount.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But privacy is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
What about customization?
Right.
From what I've seen, that seems to be a major focus of the Prompt Optimizer.
Absolutely. One of the biggest frustrations with a lot of these existing prompt tools
Yeah.
is that they often force you into using generic templates that don't always fit your specific needs.
Right.
The prompt optimizer completely turns that on its head. You can fine-tune virtually every aspect of the optimization process to perfectly align with your goals and your use cases.
So it's like having a bespoke tailor crafting the perfect suit
Exactly.
for your prompt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty compelling image. But, sometimes AI can feel like a black box.
Yeah.
You put something in, you get something out, but you don't really understand what happened in between.
Right.
How does the Prompt Optimizer address that lack of transparency?
It does this through something called chain of thought
Okay.
or COT reasoning.
Okay.
Essentially, the prompt optimizer shows you its work. It explains the step-by-step reasoning behind each change that it makes to your prompt.
Okay.
It's like having an AI assistant that can actually articulate its thought process.
So no more, just trust me, the algorithm knows best situation.
Right.
You're actually getting insight into why your prompts are being modified.
Exactly.
It sounds like a huge step forward in building trust with these AI systems.
Yeah, like so.
But let's get real for a moment. We all know context is key, especially when you're dealing with something like a conversation.
Right.
Can the Prompt Optimizer handle that?
Context-aware optimization is another one of its core strengths.
Okay.
It considers information like conversation history,
Right.
user goals, even the overall state of your application to generate prompts that are highly relevant to that specific situation.
So it's not just about optimizing a single prompt in isolation.
Right.
It's about understanding the bigger picture
Yeah.
and tailoring the prompt to fit that specific context.
Exactly.
I'm seeing a lot of potential here.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed some mentions of something called DSPy in the documentation.
Okay.
Can you shed some light on what that is and how it relates to the Prompt Optimizer?
DSPy stands for Declarative Systems for Prompting.
Okay.
And it's essentially a new way of thinking about prompt engineering.
Okay.
It's a framework that allows you to define prompts in a much more structured and logical manner. Almost like writing a computer program for your prompts. The prompt optimizer leverages the power of DSPy to make the optimization process more flexible and more powerful.
So it's like taking prompt engineering to the next level.
Yeah, in a way.
It sounds pretty advanced, though.
It can be.
Is this something that only expert developers would use?
While DSPy does offer some really advanced capabilities, the point optimizer itself is designed to be accessible to a wide range of users.
Okay.
You don't need to be a DSPy expert to benefit from it.
Sure.
The server comes with some sensible defaults, and it's built with a modular design that lets you start simple and gradually add more complexity as your needs evolve.
All right, so you don't have to be a coding wizard to use it.
No, not at all.
That's good news for a lot of people. But let's get a bit more technical for a moment.
Sure.
What can you tell us about the server's architecture and how it's actually implemented?
So if you were to kind of peek under the hood, so to speak, you'd find files like promptoptimizer.py, promptstrategies.py, and promptpatterns.py.
Okay.
These files showcase the server's modular design. Each module handles a specific part of the optimization process,
All right.
which makes it really easy to customize and extend the server's functionality.
So it's built with developers in mind,
Yeah.
giving them the flexibility to tinker and tailor it to their needs.
Exactly.
But let's talk speed.
Okay.
How does the prompt optimizer perform in real-time scenarios?
Sure.
I'm thinking of applications like chatbots, where you need instant responses.
Speed and efficiency are key design considerations for the prompt optimizer.
Okay.
It uses techniques like asynchronous programming and stream processing to handle optimization requests in real time.
Right.
This ensures that even in fast-paced environments, the optimization process doesn't create any noticeable lag.
That's impressive. And speaking of real-time feedback,
Okay.
there was something about streaming output, right?
Right?
What's the benefit of that for developers?
So with streaming output, you're not just waiting for a final result. You're getting a continuous stream of updates as the optimizer works. You can see how your prompts are being refined step by step, which is incredibly helpful for debugging and understanding the process.
So it's not just about getting a better prompt.
Right.
It's about understanding how it got better.
Yeah,
I can see how that level of transparency would be invaluable.
I think so too.
Now, I know we've touched on a lot of technical details,
We have.
but I think it would be helpful to bring this all to life with some concrete examples.
Okay, sure.
Can you walk us through some real-world scenarios where the prompt optimizer would really shine?
Let's do that. Let's say you're building a chatbot for a company.
Okay.
And accuracy is paramount.
Right.
You want to make sure that bot always provides factual information and avoids making things up.
So how could the prompt optimizer help in that situation?
Well, I imagine you could use the prompt optimizer to analyze the conversation history
Right.
and make sure that the bot stays on track and doesn't start hallucinating.
Exactly.
The prompt optimizer could dynamically adjust the prompts based on what's already been said, ensuring that the chatbot's responses are always grounded in reality.
So it's like having a built-in fact checker for your chatbot.
Kind of.
That's pretty powerful.
It is.
But what about researchers?
Okay.
How would they leverage the prompt optimizer?
Researchers are always pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
Yeah.
And prompt engineering is a big part of that.
Right.
Imagine a researcher who wants to understand how different prompting techniques affect the output of an LLM,
Okay.
particularly when it comes to creative writing tasks.
So they want to see if a more formal prompt leads to a more elaborate story,
Yeah.
or if a casual prompt results in something more humorous.
Exactly. They could use the prompt optimizer to create multiple versions of a prompt, each with a different style or a different tone,
Okay.
and then systematically compare the results.
It sounds like the prompt optimizer would give them a powerful tool to conduct their research.
It would.
But what about companies building large-scale applications?
All right.
How would they benefit from this?
Let's say a company is building a sophisticated recommendation engine for an e-commerce site.
Okay.
To provide highly personalized suggestions in real time,
Right.
they need their system to be incredibly efficient.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's where the prompt optimizer comes in.
Okay.
By optimizing the prompts used to query their recommendation model,
Right.
they can boost accuracy and performance, leading to a better user experience.
And potentially even higher sales.
Exactly.
It sounds like the prompt optimizer offers a lot of benefits, not just for developers,
Yeah.
but also for businesses.
For sure. And in a world where data privacy is increasingly important,
Right.
the fact that the prompt optimizer operates locally is a major advantage for companies in all sorts of industries.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
Whether we're talking about chatbots research or large-scale applications.
Right.
The prompt optimizer seems to offer a way to get more out of our AI systems
Yeah.
while maintaining control and privacy.
You've hit the nail on the head. And we haven't even delved into the potential of the prompt optimizer to drive innovation in prompt engineering itself, which is a very exciting prospect.
Yep. Yeah.
But we'll save that fascinating discussion after a short break.
All right. Sounds good. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. It's an area that is ripe for exploration.
Okay.
Prompt engineering is still relatively new.
Right.
We're only just beginning to grasp the complexities of crafting really effective prompts.
Yeah.
The prompt optimizer, with its emphasis on transparency and customization
Right.
and real-time feedback, could be a real catalyst for new discoveries and techniques.
It's like we're giving prompt engineers a whole new set of tools
Right.
and a more powerful lens to examine how prompts influence these LLMs.
Precisely by providing a deeper understanding of that optimization process
Yeah.
and allowing for that fine-grained control.
Right.
The prompt optimizer really empowers researchers and developers to push the boundaries of what's possible with these prompts.
Imagine a future where we can tailor prompts to specific cognitive biases
Right.
or even cultural nuances.
Exactly. We might even see a shift from handcrafted prompts to a much more collaborative process.
Right.
Where AI assists in actually generating and refining prompts.
Wow.
Blending human creativity with that machine learning prowess.
And with the prompt optimizer's ability to learn and adapt from real-time feedback,
Right.
that collaboration could become incredibly dynamic.
Absolutely. It's a thrilling prospect.
Yeah.
However, before we get carried away with future possibilities,
Okay.
let's circle back to the present
Right.
and the specifics of how the prompt optimizer actually works.
Okay.
We've touched on its self-hosted nature and
Yeah.
the importance of DSPy, but I'd love to dig a little deeper into the benefits of that modular architecture.
All ears. A modular system sounds great in theory,
Okay.
but does it translate to real-world practicality?
Absolutely. The beauty of a modular design lies in its flexibility and its adaptability. Each module handles a very specific aspect of that optimization process, like analyzing sentiment, ensuring factuality,
Right.
or controlling the level of formality.
Right.
You can essentially plug and play different modules to create a really customized optimization pipeline that suits your exact needs.
So it's like having a toolbox filled with specialized tools,
Exactly.
each one designed for a specific task.
Yeah,
You can pick and choose the right tool for the job
right.
and even swap them out as your requirements evolve.
That's a perfect analogy. And this modularity extends to the integration of DSPy
Okay.
by leveraging DSPy's capabilities.
Right.
The prompt optimizer can adapt its optimization strategies, dynamically going beyond just static rules and templates. It allows the system to actually learn and adjust
Okay.
based on the unique context of your prompt and your desired output.
This all sounds very powerful,
It is.
but I imagine there's a bit of a learning curve involved.
There can be.
How does the prompt optimizer balance this flexibility with ease of use, especially for those who might be new to more advanced prompt engineering?
You raise a really valid point.
Yeah.
While the prompt optimizer does offer a wide array of features,
Right.
it's designed with usability in mind.
Okay.
The core concepts are fairly straightforward to grasp,
Yep.
and the server comes with those sensible defaults that work well right out of the box.
Okay.
You can start simple
Right.
and gradually explore the more advanced features as your comfort level grows.
So it's like having a car with an automatic transmission.
Okay.
You just hop in and drive.
Right.
But you also have the option to switch to manual mode
Yeah.
and take more control if you want to.
Precisely. You have the power to choose the level of complexity that you're comfortable with.
I like that.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a second
Okay.
and delve into one of the features that truly sets the prompt optimizer apart.
Okay.
It's real-time capabilities.
Right.
We've mentioned this briefly,
Yeah.
but it's worth exploring in more detail.
Okay.
How do these real-time capabilities work in practice?
So from what I understand, the prompt optimizer leverages some pretty clever programming techniques to ensure that the optimization process happens instantly, even in these really dynamic environments.
What's the secret sauce that makes that possible?
Well, the server relies on a combination of asynchronous programming
Okay.
and stream processing.
Go ahead.
Asynchronous programming allows the server to handle multiple tasks concurrently
Right.
without getting bogged down by these long-running operations. It's like having multiple chefs working in a kitchen simultaneously,
Okay.
each one focused on their own tasks so that dishes are prepared quickly and efficiently.
Okay, so we have multiple tasks happening at once.
Right.
What about stream processing?
Okay.
How does that contribute to the real-time optimization?
Stream processing allows the server to analyze and process data in real time as it flows through the system.
Okay.
Think of it like a conveyor belt in a factory, where items are inspected and modified as they move along the line.
Okay.
This continuous flow of data ensures that the optimization process never falls behind,
Right.
making it perfect for fast-paced applications like chatbots.
So we have multiple chefs working asynchronously
Right.
and a conveyor belt, ensuring that these prompts are constantly being inspected and optimized.
Yeah.
That's quite the image. But how do developers actually see the results of this real-time optimization?
That's where the streaming output comes in.
Okay.
Rather than waiting for that final result,
Right.
developers get a continuous stream of updates as the optimizer works.
Mm.
It's like watching a live feed of the optimization
I
process,
see.
allowing for real-time monitoring and debugging.
So it's not just about speed, it's about visibility as well.
Exactly.
Developers can see the thought process of the optimizer as it's happening,
Right.
which is invaluable for understanding and refining that process.
Absolutely. This level of transparency is crucial for building trust and confidence in the system.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on to the use cases,
Okay.
there's one more key feature we need to unpack:
All right.
chain of thought reasoning.
Right. We touched on this earlier,
We did.
but I'd love to dive a bit deeper into how it works.
Okay.
And why it's so important.
Chain of thought reasoning, or COTI,
Okay.
is designed to tackle that black box problem that often plagues these AI systems,
Yeah.
instead of simply providing an optimized prompt.
Right.
The prompt optimizer explicitly explains the reasoning behind each step that it takes.
Hmm.
It's like having the optimizer show its work,
Okay.
providing a step-by-step breakdown of its decision-making process.
So it's not just about improving the prompt.
Right.
It's about making that optimization process understandable to humans.
Precisely by providing this level of transparency,
Okay.
the prompt optimizer fosters trust and allows developers to really understand the logic behind those changes,
Right.
making it much easier to refine their prompts and ultimately achieve better results.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Now, I know we're eager to explore those real-world use cases,
Yes.
but before we do, let's take a moment to recap what we've covered so far.
Excellent idea. We've discussed the importance of local processing for data privacy,
Right.
the flexibility and adaptability of that modular architecture,
Yeah.
the power of that DSPy integration,
Yeah.
the real-time capabilities facilitated by asynchronous programming and stream processing,
Right.
the transparency offered by streaming output,
Right.
and the crucial role of chain-of-thought reasoning in demystifying that optimization process.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but I think we've laid a really solid foundation for understanding what makes the prompt optimizer so unique and so powerful.
I agree with this understanding in place.
Yeah.
We're finally ready to dive into those real-world scenarios
Right.
and see how the prompt optimizer can be applied to solve practical challenges across these various domains.
Let's do it. And we're back, ready to explore how this prompt optimizer can be applied in real-world scenarios.
Yeah.
I'm particularly interested in that chatbot example you mentioned earlier.
Okay, yeah, it's a great use case to illustrate the power of context-aware optimization.
Okay.
Imagine you're building a customer service chatbot for a tech company.
Okay.
Accuracy is super important, right?
Right.
You want to make sure that the chatbot always provides factual information,
Right.
avoids making things up.
Especially when dealing with complex technical queries.
Exactly. So how do we keep the chatbot on track and prevent those hallucination moments?
Yeah. How do we do that?
Let's say a customer asks the chatbot a series of questions about a specific product.
Okay.
The prompt optimizer can analyze the conversation history,
Right.
identify key terms and concepts, and then dynamically adjust the prompts
Okay.
to make sure that the chatbot's responses are consistent and accurate and relevant.
So as the conversation unfolds,
Yeah,
the prompts are constantly being refined
exactly.
to reflect the context of that interaction.
Right. It's like having a human supervisor who's listening in and subtly guiding the chatbot's responses
Yeah.
to make sure they're on point.
I like that. Now let's shift gears and consider how a researcher might use the prompt optimizer in their work.
Okay.
Imagine a researcher who is studying the impact of different prompting styles on the creative writing capabilities of an LLM.
All right.
So they might be curious to see if a more formal prompt leads to a more elaborate and descriptive story,
Yeah.
while a casual prompt results in something more humorous and conversational.
Exactly. With the prompt optimizer, the researcher could easily create multiple versions of that base prompt,
Okay.
each with slight variations in tone style or level of detail.
And then feed those to the LLM and see what happens.
Exactly, and analyze the outputs to
Yeah.
see how those different prompting styles influence the generated stories.
It sounds like the prompt optimizer would give researchers a really powerful tool to conduct these controlled experiments
Absolutely.
and gain deeper insights into the art and science of prompting.
Yeah, for sure. But what about companies that are building large-scale complex AI systems?
Yeah. How would the prompt optimizer fit into that picture?
Let's take the example of a company that's developing a personalized recommendation engine
Okay.
for an e-commerce platform.
Right.
Their goal is to provide users with highly tailored product suggestions in real time.
Right.
To do this effectively, they need their AI system to process vast amounts of data and generate those recommendations quickly and accurately.
So speed and efficiency are critical here.
Absolutely. So how does the prompt optimizer help achieve that?
Yeah. How does it?
The prompt optimizer comes in by optimizing the prompts that are used to query the recommendation model.
Okay.
By refining those prompts,
Right.
they can ensure that the model is receiving the most relevant information,
Right.
which in turn leads to better recommendations and a smoother user experience.
And since the prompt optimizer works in real time,
Yes.
those recommendations can be generated on the fly.
Exactly as the user is browsing the site.
It sounds like the prompt optimizer could be a real game changer for companies looking to leverage AI to personalize that customer experience
For sure.
and boost sales.
Absolutely. And remember, in all of these scenarios, the fact that the prompt optimizer is operating locally on the developer's machine,
Right.
that provides a crucial layer of data privacy and security.
Yeah, that's a key consideration,
Yeah.
especially for companies that are dealing with sensitive user information.
Absolutely. Now, we've talked a lot about the technical details
Right.
and the potential applications, but what about the big picture?
Yeah, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
How do you see the prompt optimizer shaping the future of prompt engineering?
Well, I think we're still really in the early stages of understanding the full potential of prompt engineering.
Right.
Tools like the prompt optimizer are paving the way for a much more sophisticated and nuanced approach to interacting with these LLMs as the field evolves.
Yeah.
I expect to see even more creative and innovative uses of these prompting techniques,
Right.
leading to AI systems that are more powerful and versatile and aligned with human intentions.
It's a really exciting time to be working at the intersection of AI and human language.
It is.
And it seems like the prompt optimizer is poised to play a really significant role in shaping that future.
I couldn't agree more. It's a tool that empowers developers, researchers, and businesses to unlock the true potential of these large language models.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of prompt engineering and the prompt optimizer server.
It has.
For our listeners who are eager to learn more and maybe even try out the tool for themselves,
Yeah.
what would you suggest?
Well, the prompt optimizer server isn't publicly available just yet,
Okay.
but we encourage everyone to visit the official GitHub repository.
Right.
You'll find detailed documentation tutorials and updates on the project's progress.
Okay, and if you're interested in contributing to the development of this open source tool,
Yeah.
we welcome your involvement. We'll be sure to include a link to the GitHub repository in the show notes.
Great.
Any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'd simply say keep experimenting, keep learning.
And keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with prompt engineering.
I like that.
The journey is just beginning, and the possibilities are truly endless.
Well said. And for all you developers, AI enthusiasts, and prompt engineers out there, keep those prompts sharp
Yes.
and your LLMs humming. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.